Hi there. In this series of videos, I want to talk to you about the origins of well-known businesses and go back to their humble beginnings and consider lessons that we as startups can learn from them. So in this particular video, we're going to look at the Facebook story and we're going to uncover 7 startup lessons. My name is Boomy Tokan from StartYourOwnBusinessAcademy.com. So if we look at the uncommon background of Mark Zuckerberg, he was a keen computer programmer. He had developed numerous social networking sites like CourseMatch, and he also started FaceSmash in October 2003, which was promptly shut down because it violated the copyright laws of the university where he was attending. So what can we learn from all this? What can a startup learn from this? Well, do what you love. That's the number one lesson. A lot of people want to start up a mini Facebook or something like Facebook, but they don't really love programming. They've not really done anything with the skills they have, or their skill does not lend itself to creating anything like Facebook. So really they just want to jump on the bandwagon because Facebook is doing well, and they think, well, they're going to program a similar site and they also will laugh all the way to the bank. Well, life doesn't work that way. You've got to use the skills that you have and the connections that you have for the purpose for which you are put on this earth, and then that's how you're going to make money. So the first lesson is do what you love. Again, we look at the kind of uncommon commitment that Mark Zuckerberg had. Now, this site works. If you're doing what you love, you're more likely to be committed to it. So when FaceSmash was shut down in 2003, October, by January, he had started a new site. Now, here's the deal. If he didn't like what he was doing, he's not going to start a new site. He's just going to give up and go do something else. And this particular site that he started had about 1,200 to 1,500 registrations in a record time. So what do we learn from this? Well, recognize your small gains. One of the things that happens at the beginning of any business is that if you're not careful, you'll ignore the little things that are beginning to happen that is going to become great. If Mark Zuckerberg looked at 1,200 signups and he said, oh, that's just rubbish. That's not like I'm expecting to have 10 million. I'm expecting to have 500,000 or 3 million or whatever, then we won't have Facebook today. But because he could recognize small gains and because he was doing something he loved, it was more likely to stay with it. So the first 2 lessons: number 1, do what you love. Number 2, recognize small gains. Number 3, this is about the uncommon team. Now, when Mark Zuckerberg started, he was joined by Eduardo, Dustin, Andrew, and Chris. And many of them were doing different things from what he was good at. So some of them were like the graphic artist, the business end of things, and another programmer. So you've got to build a team. That's the 3rd lesson. Think about building a team. Most people that I talk to who are entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs do not consider building a team. They think they're going to be able to do it by themselves. Life doesn't work like that. It's not going to work that way. You need a group of people that are going to come alongside you. Now, here's the good news. The good news is that when you're building something that you love, the team that you should have tends to be people who are already around you or those that you already have access to. So you don't need to be looking too far to find the team of people that can really work with you. And remember, in today's day and age, a team can be a virtual one. Bottom line is build a team. Next thing, uncommon niches. Now, the origin of Facebook started at high school, uni, college. So that expanded to other universities in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Then Mark Zuckerberg and his team expanded it to include employees of companies like Apple and Microsoft and probably IBM and stuff. And then in 2006, they opened it up to everyone over the age of 13. Remember, Facebook did not start by opening the platform to every single person. That's really important. Now, watch also, 2007, then Facebook began to have what they call business pages now. The whole point of this is build a niche. You've got to start with a niche. And that's a challenge that most entrepreneurs, particularly new ones, needs to grapple with and win. You've got to start with a small group of people, a niche, a group of people that are going to be hungry for your product, a group of people that are going to be really interested in the solution that you're bringing to the market. So that's your niche. So even though your product may eventually be used by all women above the age of 20, you might have to start with women between the ages of 30 and 35. That's a niche. Think about what niche that you can start with, because that's exactly what Facebook did. Now, we go to uncommon funding. Here, Mark Zuckerberg and Dustin owned 50% each of the business. They incorporated it in 2004, and then Facebook.com, because they bought the domain rights for $200,000. Then they brought on board an entrepreneur called Sean Parker, who became president, who was going to help them to actually raise funds. Now, what's interesting was that they raised lots of money. I mean, for example, Microsoft gave Facebook $240 million, and a Hong Kong millionaire gave Facebook $60 million. Companies like Greylock Investment and Accel Investment also invested a lot of money with Facebook. But interestingly, the first amount of money raised was actually $500,000, $500,000. Now, what do we learn from this? As a startup, you got to raise money in stages. Why is this important? Most people, when they need $100,000 to run their business, they want to raise that $100,000 right now. Well, hang on. The point is, your business does not warrant that kind of value that someone is going to invest $100,000 in. Perhaps if you scaled the amount of money you need to different stages of your business progress or your business's progression, then you'll be able to raise that money. You may start by raising $10,000 or $20,000. Then the next round of funding, you might raise another $50,000, because by then the business has actually got in its value. Your business has no financial value just based on an idea. You need proof by sales, sign-ups, or whatever else you need to show an investor that your business will make money. Until it does that, what you can do is raise money in stages. That's also good for you anyway, because you don't want to give away all your company in the beginning. So, next thing that Mark Zuckerberg did, very smart thing they did, they brought in Sheryl Sandberg, who became the Chief Operating Officer in March 2008. And her role was to have a look at the business and really begin to give them strategies, long-term strategies, to help Facebook advertising revenue. And she did that really, really well. What do we learn from this? Well, get someone external to have a look in your business, because after working on your business for a while, you may tend not to see certain things that you ought to be looking at. Lesson number 6, get someone external to look into your business and give you some good advice. Right. You know, when you have a good business, a business that's working, making money, people come and offer to buy that business of you, because that's how business works. Most businesses actually grow by acquisition. But in 2005, there were rumors that Yahoo was interested in buying, 2006, I beg your pardon, Yahoo was interested in buying Facebook, and they were talking about maybe $1 billion, or in 2007, Mark Zuckerberg just made it clear that he wasn't interested in selling. And so he took the company to an IPO. An IPO is an initial public offering, which allows companies, private companies, to offer their shares to the public. And it is said that the IPO was the biggest in the technological industry. And in May 2012, May 18, 2012, Facebook launched their first IPO. And sales per share was $38. But today, now, is worth 100. By the time I wrote this, anyway, it's worth $141 per share. So what do we learn from this? We learn from this that we ought to keep our dream. If your dream is to have a business that you own and keep, then when it comes to selling, make sure you don't sell, because Facebook refused to sell, or Mark Zuckerberg refused to sell. Their company is now worth a lot more money than they would have gotten if they had sold to Yahoo or whoever else was chasing them for a sale. So let's recap. Lesson number 1, do what you love. Lesson 2, recognize small gains, because that's the beginning of great things and big things. Lesson 3, build a team. Make sure you can build a team, a physical team or a virtual team. And lesson number 4, make sure you are pursuing a niche. So it says build a niche. Lesson number 5, raise money in stages. You don't need to raise all the money you need in one go. Lesson number 6, get someone in who is external, because after working in your business for a while, you tend to be blind to some opportunities. So you need someone else to help you to spot those opportunities. And lesson number 7, keep your dream. All right, I'll see you soon when we explore another great company from which we can learn 7 more startup lessons. God bless you.